Hi, Geminis. Thank you so much for joining me for our first video on this channel. I'm so excited. For those of you who are new, my name is Chanel, and I am the resident reader of the YouTube channel Divine Resolution Tarot. I decided to make a channel just for Geminis because Geminis have been so supportive through my tarot journey on YouTube. So Geminis, we're taking a look at the week of the 24th through the 30th. And you're starting out in the Eight of Swords energy. So I feel like there's a lot going on mentally here. I'm not seeing a lot of action. If anything, it's almost like you're looking back at what you've already done and what that's created. Taking some time to really try to zoom in on what makes you happy in life, because there's kind of this energy of feeling like there's so much untapped potential in regards to the way that you're living, right? That could be a career that perhaps you'd like to explore, a relationship. I'm seeing here that you're spending a lot of time trying to kind of sort out the details of situations this week. I feel like things in the past, if you've made decisions, because I am seeing that there was a decision that has been made in your life, whether it's through your job or your relationships, you got to a place where you were really just not putting up with anything that was below what you deserved, right? And I feel like that's created something new. But unfortunately, with what I'm getting with this star in the reverse energy, it's almost like things are not transforming the way that you want them to. And so there's kind of this energy of like, okay, I'm not getting the results that I wanted. What do I do now? For some of you, you're looking at creating your own business or your own job because you've left a job or you've decided you're not happy where you are, but it feels like the opportunities are kind of slim. It's almost like you're coming to the realization that perhaps your gifts don't have a specific niche that's been created yet. So you're looking into like the details of how to start a company, or how can you diversify what you're already doing. There's some fear here. I feel like, so just to be mindful of allowing doubts to creep in with this Eight of Swords, because I'm not seeing a lot of action this week, right? This is really just kind of trying to figure out where you're at, and where you want to be. And that's just fine. There's nothing wrong with that. For some of you, you're getting a large lump sum of money, and so that's got your wheels kind of spinning, because there's an energy of you being able to change something about your circumstances this week. So if you suddenly get a lawsuit payout, or perhaps a large tax return, there's something here where it gives you freedom. But in that freedom, it's almost like it activates all of the anxiety of like, oh my gosh, what if I quit my job? Could I start my business? Is it the time to look for a new career, right? Should I go back to school? There's a lot here that I feel like you're trying to figure out. But what's very nice is that whatever this Justice, Six of Pentacles in the reverse represents, you're going to be able to have more freedom than you probably will feel like you've had in a long time. So that's very good. And I like that you're actually taking the time to look back at some of the decisions you made in the past, figuring out how you got where you are now so that you're not repeating those same situations. I do just worry a little bit that perhaps if you had situations in the past that have not panned out the way that you want, don't spend so much time ruminating, on what you could have done better. Maybe try to look at it from a very analytical point of view. Like, you know what, I did this happened. I don't want that. It's time to do the opposite. And that's actually what one of your oracle cards is saying here. We did get Octopus, practice shape shifting by altering your physical appearance and mannerisms. This doesn't only talk about the physical, this is talking a lot about doing something different, than you've done in the past. And I think the best way to go about doing that is, rather than spending a lot of time looking at what happened, perhaps look at the future and think about the kind of person that you want to be in the future, and then make decisions based on what that person would do, right? Like, even if it hasn't manifested just yet, if you're planning on becoming a business owner, try to tap into that future version of yourself and think like, what would that person do, versus looking at the past and really ruminating on what your past self did, right? This is another eight, right? Because our octopus has 8 arms. I feel like this is an excellent time this week to start thinking about other things that you're good at, possibly in the sector of communication or writing, ideas. This is really talking about using your life experience to create a job for yourself or to navigate a relationship that you're in. I do feel like you have some gems, Gemini, from your past experiences that you are not utilizing, and there's people out there with the Six of Pentacles in the reverse that really could benefit from what you have. For some of you, with what I'm seeing here, you dealt with narcissistic abuse, whether that was from a parent or a partner, and you see the red flags, right? So some of you might be really good at like doing some type of relationship coaching or helping people to notice red flags, set boundaries, that kind of thing. I'm also seeing that you're actually being advised to take your time. There might be bouts of feeling as though you really need to make a move this week, and you're actually being told to just kind of fall back and think about what you want, right? So that kind of goes back to that energy of looking at the future, figuring out where you want to be. It's almost like when people start writing a novel, but they start from the end and then they write backwards, right? If you can get a handle on where you want to go, that should help to direct your steps. And I feel like now more than ever, Gemini, you've probably become very, very clear about that with the combination of cards that I'm seeing here. For some of you this week, you're actually discovering what your life purpose is based on revelations that you're having, right? There's a truth that I feel like for you, Geminis, it's coming to light this week, whether that's something in your environment, or perhaps something within yourself where you're starting to have kind of this revelation of like, if I always have this type of situation, perhaps I'm supposed to be working with people who don't know how to navigate this situation, right? For some of you, if you've been through divorce, right, you're supposed to be like a mediator or an advocate. There's a lot of energy here around you having a very big purpose. And now it's like the universe is starting to align financially. It's starting to bring people into your life that perhaps can assist you with moving to the next step of your purpose. This feels like a pretty big week. I think the main issue here is just you kind of wondering, like, are you ready for this next big step? There's an energy with this star in the reverse, Eight of Swords combo of feeling as though you're suffering from imposter syndrome. Have you healed enough to embark on whatever this is, right? If this is like a relationship or someone who is interested in you. For some of you, this is you ruminating over whether or not you should allow someone to make amends to you based on the way that they've treated you in the past, right? There's an energy here of you being very focused on the future. Is whatever this is worth the time? What would you have to get rid of or sacrifice to be able to participate in this? There's just a lot of thoughts going on, but I really feel like with this Eight of Swords star in the reverse combo, you may suffer from not just doubt, but also imposter syndrome. You're being advised to remember your gifts with the Six of Cups justice. I see that you've been through so much, but that all took place so that you could transmute that energy into something very beautiful that would allow you to help other people in your situation. Okay. So it seems like this week you're kind of doing a lot of thinking about what that would look like. It feels like you are being given a clearer picture of the why, and I feel like as I've been reading for you all, that's something that you've been doing a lot of thinking about, right? Like, why would I have the kind of life I have? Why would I meet the kind of people that I meet? Now, in regards to love, Gemini, to me, this looks like you're doing a lot of thinking about the next phase of your love life. There's somebody here that it feels like wants to make amends to you. Perhaps they've tried to make amends to you. For you at this time, I feel like you're not willing to give to this situation. This is kind of something that I feel like you've put on the back burner. For some of you, you could be getting a message from someone new and you find that a little bit triggering because you're still in the process of healing. For others of you, I feel like this week, for some reason, you're going to be thinking about this person. So let's clarify what that is, because as I'm looking at this Knight of Cups, you could be thinking about this person because you're trying to figure out the direction to take in the future. There's a small group of you that are thinking about moving and wondering if that would play a part in the relationship with this person. What would that look like in the future if they came back and you weren't there, that kind of thing. So let's just see what your Knight of Cups is for an old partner. Okay. Yeah, I feel like for some of you, you're getting impatient. That can often be that Knight of Wands in the reverse energy. Someone is feeling impatient. If that isn't you, then you can take it how it resonates and apply it to your person. But the difficulty here is that it's still quiet. You know, it doesn't look like there's a whole lot going on past this one attempt. So I feel like this is you taking the situation into your own hands and looking at this as something that is either in the works that doesn't need your attention, or it's something that you're not willing to continue waiting around for. Let's see this Knight of Cups in regards to new people for love. All right, so you could be exploring your options this week in regards to your love life. I do feel like, though, with the cards that I'm seeing, you're still not really open to anybody because of this. Pay attention to the red flags. This is kind of the energy of feeling like you're almost forcing yourself to do something that you're just not really ready to do. So if that is truly how you feel and you come to that realization this week, try to honor that, right? Try not to put yourself in a situation where you're feeling uncomfortable or you're feeling like you should have already done something different by now. Because with this Knight of Wands in the reverse, this can really talk about looking at your life and feeling like you're not where you should be, right? That you didn't make the necessary actions or decisions, and kind of being impatient for growth or progress, but also perhaps taking impulsive choices or making impulsive decisions based on the need to feel like you're making progress. Sometimes Knight of Wands in the reverse can really talk about just like moving all over the place, but not really having direction or getting things done. So I feel like just be very mindful of that. You know, there's kind of an energy of feeling like you need to rush a process. And with what I'm seeing here, you're actually being advised not to, not to really do too much of anything in the action realm, but more to center yourself, because it feels like to me, you've gone through some very big changes recently, whether that's been in the past year or two or a month or whatever. And now you're just kind of at ground zero, right? I feel like healing needs to be at the forefront of your life right now, putting yourself first, perhaps rather than looking at your life and feeling like you need to rush the process. And try to stay in the moment, right? Try to look at the now and just understand that it's all a part of the process, because you actually got the Six of Cups for your advice. So I feel like that's Spirit's way of saying, like, in this lifetime, you probably have dealt with some very heavy karmic lessons, whether it was karmic partners, twin flames, relationships, work experiences. And it feels like you're coming to the end of that. But that doesn't mean that there isn't going to still be kind of that residual, right? Like oftentimes, if you're in a situation for an extended period of time, even once it's over, that doesn't mean that mentally it's over, right? Or that emotionally it feels like it's over. So you're being advised to really take the time to try to get back to regular, right? Do some work with your inner child, check in with yourself, see where you're at. Perhaps spend time doing things that you enjoy that you have not had time to do. This is a great time to spend time with friends that maybe you just haven't been feeling good enough to see. There's also something about your childhood that it feels like you could be monetizing. So I don't know if you're an artist or if you happen to work with kids. For some of you, You would be a great like trauma therapist for children or social worker based on this Justice card. There's an energy here of you reconnecting to who you were before all of these things happened to you, and then integrating that part of yourself into where you are now, you know, rather than looking at external, like what are other people doing that's bringing them success in love or with money. And I really like that. That actually is your advice. And I feel like that's what you're leaning towards doing. So you did get apology in the reverse and retreat. It's time to disconnect from the world. Snow leopard, take some time out of your usual life and spend it in solitude. So again, this apology in the reverse, I feel like that has a lot to do with this justice, 6 of Pentacles in the reverse combination, where you're just kind of thinking about, you know, what if I let this person back into my life? Or what if I reached out to this person? What would that look like? And, you know, as far as love, you could be exploring your options and still really having your walls up. And that's absolutely okay. You're actually being advised to just kind of go with the flow for now. You to get trust. Transformation occurs through acceptance. Once you accept the current situation, it will automatically transform. So rather than trying to mold something to be what you think it should be in this moment, you're actually being encouraged to just kind of fall back and do a lot of self-care this week. You did get, if you could do anything, what would it be? The answer dwells in your heart, not in your mind, for the heart is the gateway to the soul. So it feels like you're really being advised with that 6 of Cups to reconnect to your inner child, because that is where your happiness lies. And sometimes as we go through relationships or traumatic situations like jobs, you know, you can have a toxic job, those things disconnect us from our happiness, right? Because we start kind of shutting down. So maybe you do some work on your heart space this week too. You got miracles happen all the time. Open your mind to miracles and you will start experiencing miraculous coincidences in your life. Now, with the star in the reverse being your obstacle, Gemini, that actually does talk a lot about not having faith in situations based on what you've dealt with in the past, right? So it's time to kind of recalibrate, because it's like you feel this guiding force where you're realizing that it's time to make moves in your life. But if you don't have faith in the future or any potential positive outcomes, it will feel like you're spinning your wheels, right? Because you know you're supposed to be doing something. You're feeling a pull to be somewhere, but all you can do is talk yourself out of making the necessary action to get there because you don't believe you'll ever arrive, right? Let's get a yes or no oracle for you all for the week. So be thinking of a yes or no question. This can have to do with this reading, or this can have to do with life in general. But let's see what we see. Let me have one yes or no oracle for Gemini, please. What do we have for Gemini? All right. Yes, for now. However, change is inevitable. Bottom of the deck, a conclusion is on the horizon. So for now, your answer is yes, but it looks like you can expect changes because you have not reached the final destination of this situation, okay? All right, Gemini, as always, it is my honor, my pleasure. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll be doing all kinds of relationship readings. This is just kind of a weekly forecast, so it's a little bit general. But if you are interested in relationship readings and weekly forecasts and you have not already subscribed, please make sure that you do so that you will know how to find me in the future. All of you take very good care of yourselves, and I will speak to you again soon. Bye.